Founder Janelle, I am excited to offer you your very first capital in your startup.
Yeah! What are you thinking for terms?
I'm in a generous mood. I would like to offer you $4 million of investment at a $5 million valuation. Post money, that is.
Hang on a second. You're suggesting that you own 80% of my company?
I know, generous, right?
Founders, if some VC asks to own 80% of your startup as a first fundraise, please run away as fast as possible.
Today's Uncapped Notes episode is going to cover how much ownership you should have by the time you complete your Series A. Just know that this is an area of severe disagreement even within our industry.
We're going to share our opinion at Hustle Fund on what we suggest founders target in terms of ownership. Why don't we start with the very beginning? Eric, for a founder who is just starting their company, how much ownership of their startup should they have?
The answer is 100%. This one should be pretty non-controversial. If you're just starting your startup, you and your co-founders should own the entire thing. As simple as that sounds, you would be surprised how people sometimes come out of the woodwork at the very beginning to ask for advisor shares or other small pieces of the pie. Try not to give anything away at the very beginning, though.
Let's talk about raising seed capital. Targeting specific ownership in your startup is actually trickier than founders might expect, now that money is raised via safes, and there are multiple tranches of safe fundraisers that happen typically before the Series A. Let's start first talking about the safe and why it makes ownership so difficult to understand.
That's a great idea, Janelle. So let's go back to the original example in our opener. So that jackass VC offered $4 million on a $5 million post money. Let's say that he was doing this via a safe. How much did you actually dilute yourself as a founder at that point?
So for simplicity, we said it was 80%, but in reality, the founder still owns 100%. The reason why is that a safe is sort of like an IOU to investors. Shares are not given away when you sign a safe with an investor. That only happens when the first priced round takes place, and your previous safes can then convert.
This is an important nuance for founders to understand. It's that equity isn't technically given away when you raise via a safe. That's a common confusion. But the second part that you mentioned around raising via multiple tranches is also tricky. Let's say that you raise through several valuations of safes. First was $500,000 raised initially at a $3 million cap, $1 million on a $7 million cap later on, and then finally $1.5 million at a $15 million cap. It can start to get hard to track what is going to convert in terms of equity when you finally raise your first price round.
Yeah, that sounds complicated. So the easy way to track everything is that if you are raising a safe on a post-money basis, conversion math is kind of simple. 500K on a 3 million post-money is about 17%. 1 million on a 7 million post money is 14%. 1.5 million on a 15 million post money is 10%. Add it all up, and when you do your priced money conversion, it will be 41% of the cap table sold upon conversion with your previous investors.
Founders, if you raise your money on a post money safe, it will be easier to track how much equity you are virtually giving away. I think that a good target is to sell less than 30% of your ownership in your business before your Series A.
You can also take a look at Uncapped Notes episode 57, Did I Oversell the Cap Table for My Startup?, to get more context about cap table mathematics. But let's cover the Series A. Eric, how much should a founder own in her business after the Series A?
Janelle, it may not always be possible, but I think a good target would be something greater than 50%. I like the idea of founders still having majority ownership and majority control over their own business, even after a Series A.
Maintaining control over your own business for as long as possible is indeed great. But you should know that after your Series A, it's likely that you won't be able to have majority ownership at that point. But hopefully you'll have a great team and board members that have your back and align with your vision for the long term. At the risk of offending my VC colleague, Eric, I have a message for you founders. You know what is really great? Having 100% ownership of your company always. When starting your founder journey, think through whether it is possible to bootstrap your company the entire way.
Janel, I am offended. Just kidding. You are right. If there was a way to bootstrap your company without any outside funding, that is always ideal. I did this with one of my startups in the past, and it was wonderful to not have shareholder pressure as I grew the company in the way that I preferred. That said, funding is sometimes necessary, and hopefully our Uncapped Notes episode provides some decent rough guidelines on how to target your ownership.
Thanks again for watching this episode of Uncapped Notes, and I hope that you like and subscribe.